It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. Today's video is titled, The Eagles versus Bears, 2 Dreams, 2 Questions, and 1 Event. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. My market crash timeline. This is a timeline that I have shared in previous videos. This timeline was created from 2 market crash dreams that I had. In one of those dreams, I saw numbers and colors, and using those things as God led me, I created this market crash timeline. In addition to that, God also would give me dates within a dream or a person's birthday, and all those things combined is what I use to help create this timeline. Here in red, I have highlighted specific dates and events to correlate with this video. And what I did was I took those highlighted dates and I created a diagram. So we're looking at the market crash timeline diagram using those highlighted dates and events. And I want to start with October 7th, simply because that is what this timeline has been centered on, the Israel-Hamas war that began in 2023. So as you can see, I have 2 sections of yellow, October 7th and October 7th, because we have seen the anniversary of this war last year in 2024. Looking over at October 17th, that is the date that was given to me in a dream. I'm quite sure you guys have heard a lot about this October 17th date. That date was given to me in the second market crash dream. If you look over to the green section, you'll see August 17th and September 27th. Those were 2 dates for my market crash dreams. So again, October 17th was given to me in one of those dreams. And on October 17th, the things that I noticed both years in 2023 and in 2024, something major, specific news out of Israel took place on that day. Also, October 17th, 2023, underneath it, you'll see 177 or 177 days. That was given to me from the first market crash dream. Back to the green section, August 17th. In that market crash dream, I saw 177. This is a number of days I have rarely used throughout this market crash timeline. But by the end of this video, you will see why it is important. And I understand that God's timing is always perfect. So again, the 2 yellow section has to do with October 7th, the Israel and Hamas war. The 2 red section has to do with October 17th, the date given to me in a dream. The green section has to do with the 2 market crash dreams that I had. That moves us to the blue section, April 10th, April 11th. This date was derived from the red October 17th, 2023. I added those 177 days to the October 17th date, and that brought me to April the 10th. On this day, I had my tether swing dream, the dream about tether and tether crashing or becoming unstable. And I also had the yellow and red key dream on the 11th, probably an hour or 2 apart. But in that tether swing dream, I received the date of April the 18th. And that brings us to the orange section, April 18th, what took place in an event over in Israel, something to do with the war, major news. And one more thing to keep in mind as we continue with this video, April the 18th is also April the 19th in Israel, depending on the time of the day. So this brings us to our very first dream, titled Eagles versus Bears. And this dream I had on June 20th, 2025. And in this dream, I saw that Brother Marcus had created a post on YouTube. Brother Marcus, if you don't know, he has a channel titled Walk This Way or Walk His Way. I have been following him since before I even started my YouTube channel. He has invested a lot and have given a lot of insightful dreams and interpretation and just information as a whole about this wealth transfer, about preparing for it. So if you haven't seen his channel yet, I advise you to go by and check it out. But in this dream, Brother Marcus created a post, and his post was a question. The question was asking, does anyone know when the last time the Bears played the Eagles and the Eagles won? After I heard this question, I woke up. As I began thinking about this dream, Eagles and Bears, I was brought to an understanding that Bears represent Russia and the Eagles will represent the U.S. And so I decided to email Brother Marcus and tell him about this dream. He responded with some very helpful information and insight about this dream. I had even learned some things about him that brought clarity as to why God allowed him to be in this dream. because he's a football person, he was able to research and find quickly what may have taken me a while to find. So thank you, Brother Marcus, for taking the time to respond and help with this dream. And this is what he sent me. The answer to the question, when was the last time the Bears played the Eagles and the Eagles won, was on December 18th, 2022. He also sent me the upcoming season. The Eagles versus Bears will take place on November 28th, 2025. That is Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So I decided to take this date, December 18th, and do some research. And I found out that in 1777, December 18th, the United States celebrated its first Thanksgiving. Why? Because of the victory that they had over the British general John Burgoyne at Saratoga in October. So the things that stood out to me here, the keywords were Thanksgiving, John Burgoyne, Saratoga, and the month of October. So those were my keywords. Brother Marcus also shared that he too saw this as Russia versus the U.S. And this brings me to the diagram once again, and we're going to add this particular dream and information to this diagram. So there we have the question, when was the last time the Bears played the Eagles and the Eagles won? December 18th. We also have this date as of 1777, the first Thanksgiving after this battle or having to do with Saratoga. And finally, I added the November 28th date, 2025, because that is the next time that they're going to play the Bears versus the Eagles. This brings me to dream number 2. And in this dream, I also heard a question. And I heard specifically what happened on April the 19th. I woke up after hearing this question and I said April 19th, that's not a familiar date. However, April 18th is a date that's on my timeline. And so I began to do research on April the 19th. And I typed the question into the search just as I heard it. And what did I find out? Shots heard around the world. The American Revolutionary War. It began on April 19th, 1775. This war is also known as the War of Independence. Why? Because the 13 American colonies became frustrated. They were tired of the British rules, taxation without representation, so they fought for independence and ultimately established the United States in the end. This war led to the adoption of the Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4th, 1776. And, to my surprise, one of the key battles in this war was Saratoga. Sound very familiar. Thinking back to December 18th from the dream about the Bears versus the Eagles, that was one of my key words, John Burgoyne at Saratoga. So I began to read more about this Battle of Saratoga, and I saw that it ended on October 7th. October 7th, 1777. And this guy, Burgoyne, he surrendered on October 17th. October 17th. So my takeaways from this article about the Saratoga War, of course, are the dates. October 7th, 1777, October 17th, 1777. And I also took notice of the year, 1777. Of course, that brings me back to our diagram as we look at the date of October 7th as it relates to the Hamas war. We can look back at October 17th, the date that was given to me in a dream, and we see how all this is tying together now. I don't think it's a coincidence that God has given me 2 dreams that has led me to 2 dates on this diagram. Dates that I have been sharing and talking about for months. In addition to that, the year 1777 reminded me of the 177 days that I had been using on this market crash timeline, adding that to October 17th. So a lot of familiar things here. So to our diagram, I'm going to add this dream along with the question, specifically what happened on April the 19th. I'm going to add here the American Revolutionary War, the date April 19th, 1775, looking specifically at the Battle of Saratoga that ended on October 7th, and the individual Burgoyne surrendering on October 17th. And this entire dream will connect to the yellow section, October 7th, as well as the red section, October 17th. And the green section as it relates to the 177 days that looks very similar to the year that this battle took place. And now adding in both dreams to the diagram, this is what we have. And the first dream, of course, connects to the second dream, simply because both streams are about the same battle, the same war, the American Revolutionary War. Another way to look at this is that one dream led me to the beginning of this American Revolutionary War, and the second dream represented the end of the American Revolutionary War. And the answers are connected to one event, the American Revolutionary War. Going back to the first dream, looking at the date of December 18th, the U.S. celebrated its first Thanksgiving. Here, the key word is Thanksgiving. If you look back at the next time this year when the Eagles played the Bears, that is on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I don't think it's a coincidence. Another way to look at this, Bears versus Eagles, is it possible? Is this what God is showing me? This is the question. Is it something that looks like this? The next time the Bears play the Eagles, Bears versus Eagles, will be November 28th, and we're looking at Russia versus the United States. Will this take place around Thanksgiving? Will we hear something about this around Thanksgiving? Again, this is not far-fetched, simply because I have shared another dream in these videos about I feel God is showing me something to do with World War III. He has told me that a war is coming. So again, 2 dreams, each asking a question. So here's the diagram one more time in its entirety. That is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.